Namaskar, Om Tat Sat. Today in this video, we are going to talk on the methods in Vedanta. Now, Vedanta is a word that is well known to most of us, and uh, and we know that Vedanta also. In my last video, we have seen the six schools of Vedanta, and Vedanta is Ant of the Ved, and Ved means knowledge, and Anta is the end. So it is when I say end of knowledge. So what does it mean? It means basically the cutting edge, and where everything stops, and we are going to the higher dimension of reality. Now, one of the question that generally my students keep on asking, sir, we understand Vedanta, but what is the method of doing Vedanta? Everything has a method. So Vedanta, of course, is a cutting edge art, a cutting edge science, and it helps us to penetrate the reality and understand what exactly is the reality. And today, of course, this is a most sought subject with respect to what exactly is matter and what is beyond matter. And we have pushed matter to an extent where we have got into the quarks. And then, of course, quantum physics has taken in, and a lot of research is actually happening in that area. So the entire edifice of science today has advanced to a large extent, and it is so happy to know that our great seers and sages from India, Bharat, has already spoken on that in a different terminology. Now, when you talk about Vedanta, especially the methods, uh, there is three pillars, that is Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. To begin with, and of course there are other dimensions also. Ultimately, Vedanta is trying to prove that the Jagat is Mithya and the Brahma is Satya. But at the same time, Jive Brahmaina na paraha. So it is getting into something called oneness. But how do you do that? So first, the fundamental requirement is Shravana. Shravana is basically listening to the sages and to the gurus, because it is by listening the Shruti Parampara that everything is getting inside us. We need to, it is a parampara, it is coming from the guru and then the shishya. So it is all about discipleship. And that is not enough. What is required is manana, that is chintan or a contemplation, the reflection. I need to really reflect back and understand and be with the system, be with the knowledge for a substantial time. Then only we get into it. And then there is a stage beyond manana, and that is called Nididhyasana. Nididhyasana is basically taking a particular concept and getting into it for a very long time, which is basically the meditative way of understanding something. We go deep into it, and it is the Bhakti Bhav. So one is the Jnana Bhav, and another is the Bhakti Bhav. And it happens and it soaks inside the system over a period of time. So it is Shravana, and then Manana, and then of course it is coming from the system of within, that is the beingness where you understand. Now, there are two important concepts which I'm going to delve in terms of methods of Vedanta. One is called Adhyaropa, and another is called Apavada. Now, these are the terms, technical terms, and of course, these are something again to really soaked into the system. Now, Adhyaropa is basically talking about the superimposition. Now, what is superimposition? Superimposition talks about it as being superimposed on something. Now, what is superimposed on something? What? Basically, when you say what, it is the dravya, it is the vastu, it is the matter, and it is all the objects that we see in and around us. And we understand that that is everything, and that is being superimposed on the reality, and that particular reality is something which Vedanta is trying to peel off layer by layer and belief by belief, and make us understand that it is something which is irreducible, a Brahman. And that is the crux. So Adhyaropa, so when you see something, we see that that is, when I say something, means it can be any object in front of us, and that is the reality. And that is an Adhyaropa. But actually, what you see is just popped up from the very irreducible something, which is the ground state, which can be, of course, labeled as Brahman and consciousness, and everything has popped up. So that is a superimposition, and we mistake. That is one level. The second one is called as Apavada, that is a negation. So once you need to really understand something called a superimposition, whatever you see is being superimposed on something. So if I talk about this particular hand, so this hand is over this particular, my palm. So So I cannot see this. So this is being hidden. So and this is being superimposed. So matter is being pushed, and scientists has already done that. So if you go back to the Bharat, the ancient Bharat, Rishi Kannad has done that. And if you get into the ancient Greek, we have Democritus who's talked about the atomic theory, and then of course Dalton came, and then of course the quantum aspects of the reality came into existence. So we are not seeing matter per se, but we are trying to really get into it in terms of its decomposition. So we are trying to reduce. So that is one. And once you know that, then apavada is a negation. This is not. So this is not the chair. This is an image of the chair, and this is even not even the image. And like that, we keep on negating. So this is not, and this is not, and this is not. And once and this is not is basically called neti neti. And we are trying to come to the reality with respect to what is the origin. And Vedanta is trying to again prove that it is based on logic, a very strong logic. So this is not, and so what it is. This is not, so what it is. So there's a logic, and we have volumes. So whether it is Vaisheshta Yoga, whether it is the Advait Vedanta, or it is the Mandukya Karika, or it is the entire text of the Upanishads. So they have so much of slokas. And why so much of slokas are required? Because it is required because to convince us, not once and not twice, but layer by layer. Because human mind is very chalak. It is very, very sly. It always gives a reason. And Vedanta also has a reason. So it is all based on pure logic. There are more aspects other than what actually you talked about, the adhyaropa and the apavada, and that is called the avidya. Now, avidya is basically ignorance, and there are two types of ignorance. One is called the mula avidya, and that is called tula avidya. Now, mula avidya is a root ignorance. The root ignorance is basically I don't know exactly what is the reality, and that particular reality is something that I'm not interested, because probably I don't have that kind of an intellect, or I don't want to. Why should I know about all these things? Because the reality is in front of me and I'm enjoying the reality. So I need not know it. So I don't have that willingness to know. There is a mula avidya. And then we have something called tula vidya. Tula vidya is basically to do with individual, that what it appears to me, and what it appears to me is the real. And why do I need to go beyond I see in and around us? So we are actually having both these avidyas. And if you see one of the Shanti mantra, it says that asotoma sadgamaya tamosoma jyotirgamaya mritumaya mritumaya om shanti shanti shanti. So from the asat to the sat, so from the non-reality, we are trying to really get into the reality. And from the darkness, we are trying to get into the jyoti, that is the light. And once we know that, we are trying to understand that we are actually immortal, from mortality to immortality. So ultimately, that is on oneness, and that is actually a lifelong strive, because there's always an oscillation between what is here and what is there. So tattvam asi, but that's a very difficult concept to really absorb and digest. It requires a lot of a conviction that this is not me, and this is not an object, and this is not the dravya, and this is not the vastu, and this is not the mind, and this is not the body, and this is beyond. So na papa, na punya, na sukha, na dukha, na mantra, na tirtha, na the Veda, na yagna. Aham bhujanam naive bhujanam na bhukta chidananda rupa shivo aham. And that is the reality. That's what Adi Shankaracharya has given in lots of text. And it gives us a lot of solace to our mind. It gives a lot of solace to our body. And once you are into it, you are one with the divine. Stay tuned. Do watch my videos. Do comment on my videos. Do like my videos. It will be a great motivation for me. Thank you. Namaste. Om Tat Sat.